What's up, everybody? This is MJ and TGIF. It is Friday and the weekend is here. Welcome to our Friday training broadcast. I hope you are ready with your notebook and your pen to take down some important things that we're going to be talking about today. Let me put my eyes on. So today I wanted to talk about 2020, right? Everybody's talking about how terrible of a year that 2020 was. 2020 will go down in infamy as the worst year in a lot of ways that anybody that's alive right now can ever remember in American history and world history. So much went on that was not great, right? A lot of people lost their jobs. Unfortunately, a lot of people lost their lives. A lot of people lost their health. A lot of businesses folded. The economy was in turmoil. Even more ugliness came out of people than what we were used to even in past years, as far as social injustice and racism. All these things happened. We were stuck in the house. A lot of us started working from home, whether we wanted to or not. Well, I saw something yesterday that high heel sales were down by 71% in 2020 because people couldn't go anywhere where you would normally wear high heels. And so all of these strange things happened in 2020, these terrible things. And of course, everybody was holding their breath for 2021 to begin, as if somehow the changing of the calendar was going to change our circumstances. But anyway, so for most people, when you think about 2020, you're like, oh, I'm glad it's over, even though most of what was going on is still going on. But most people do not experience 2020 as the best year ever. The best year health-wise, the best year relationship-wise, the best year financially, the best year business-wise. Most people did not experience that, but there are some people who saw 2020 in a different way. I am one of those people who saw 2020 in a different way. And what we're going to be talking about today is the people for whom 2020 was their best year ever, specifically in their business, and even more specifically in their retail business, like the shopper boutique that you want to start. And so we're going to unpack today, why is it? How did they do that? How did they go through the same year that everybody else went through, but come out with a different perspective, with a different experience, with a different vantage point than others? Because it is possible that if you make some shifts in how you view the world, you could actually view, if not 2020, because it's already in the past, but 2021 can be your best year. But you got to understand how 2020 was other people's best year so you can get on that same train and make it your best year as well. Usually when crises happen, most people go right to what's not working, what's going wrong, the lack, the pain, the negative sides of it. That's just the natural inclination for most people. But the businesses that survived in 2020 were owned or operated by people who think differently, who do things differently, who respond differently. And that's why they experienced their best year. The people who experienced 2020 as the year where their business grew, I'm talking about millionaires that were at zero at the beginning of 2020. They emerged as millionaires by the end of 2020. I know some of these people personally in a variety of industries. One of the reasons is because they saw the opportunity in the crisis. Opportunity always, or I'll say almost always, appears in the midst of something that you don't want, in the midst of a crisis, in the midst of a tragedy, in the midst of a negativity, in the midst of a loss. That is when opportunity presents itself. And that is because the reason that you need an opportunity is because something's not going well. And I want you to sit with that, because that normally flies in the face of what most people think. You think opportunities are just out here and they just appear and you take advantage of them when things are going well. And why do things have to be not going well for you to have opportunity? See, you don't need an opportunity if things are going the way you want them to. It's when things are not going well that you need an opportunity. It's an opportunity because it's something that's going to pull you out of where you are now. So you can't find opportunity when you're not looking for them, and you won't be looking for them as long as things are going well. You will only look for something when things are not going well. And fundamentally and intellectually, I know that makes sense. But when we get to these crises, we're always like, oh no, why us? Why is this happening? Oh my goodness. But that's when these business owners who saw what was happening, who saw the quarantine, who saw the pandemic, who saw the sickness, the death, who saw the business closures, who saw the people losing their job and all that, they saw it as an opportunity, because opportunity always shows up in the midst of crisis. They looked at it and said, things are going to be different now. How can I prepare my business to respond to the differences? Instead of focusing on, oh my goodness, things won't be the same. The same has happened. I'm a church girl, so the same has happened in the church world. The churches that are desperate to go back to the way things were, and that's all they can focus on, are the ones that went back, had people that were sick, or if they didn't go back, some churches have closed their doors permanently because they weren't able to pivot. So the same thing has happened in church. It's happened in a lot of spaces. But we're talking about business today. The businesses that said, forget about how things were. How can things become? How can we do things differently now? How can we pivot instead of panicking and make our business responsive to this opportunity? Those are the ones that survived. And it wasn't that the other ones couldn't do that, but their leadership, their owners, their managers, whoever was in charge, the decision makers, were in panic mode. They were in, oh my goodness, when are we going to go back? And that you see it even in the school systems. Every other week they're saying, okay, we're going to go back in March. We're going to go back in May. We're going to go back. And like they keep trying to predict it, even though it's clear that we are not in control of the virus. The virus is running the show. They keep predicting it's going to be under control and we're going back in a few weeks, and keep telling people things are going back to normal instead of, now some school systems and some businesses are doing a good job at this, but instead of focusing on how can we maximize where we are now, they are focusing only on, we want things to be the way they were. The people who are saying things aren't never going to be the same, or if they ever are the same, we're not going to worry about that. Right now, we're in the now and we're focusing on that. Those are the ones that are positioned for growth. And because so many of their competitors were not doing that, when those competitors dropped off, the need for what they have didn't necessarily drop off. Sure, there were some things that were sold differently, some things that were less in demand because people were staying at home more and not working. There are some products of that nature. But the innovators, the people who have now become the leaders and had their best year ever in 2020 are the ones that said, okay, the things that my competitors are no longer able to offer that people still want, I'm going to take up that, I'm going to fill that gap. I'm going to fill that need. And the things that people no longer need, I'm going to stop doing those. I'm going to stop trying to sell that stuff and find what they do want. Comment below and you tell me, what is at least one type of product that people never needed in bulk before that they need now? This isn't a trick question. It's an easy answer. What is something that now has turned into almost a cottage industry that a year ago, because this is what, February, a year ago, was not even a thing? There's probably a number of products of that nature. I'm gonna see who commented. Somebody said hello. Hello, thanks for watching. So comment below, what is a product? I'm going to use the most obvious example. Masks. When you think about masks, what happened in the beginning of the pandemic? They had masks, little blue and white ones. They were in the drugstores, and that, it was for people that had respiratory stuff, and it was for people that were suffering with cancer, things of that nature. They needed masks to protect them, but they were the only ones. So there weren't that many on the shelves. And then they started disappearing. The N95 masks, the fancy ones, the cheap ones, this 10 for 10, they started disappearing. Then they were no longer available. The hospitals took over all of the supply of those, because now instead of just certain people working in the hospitals needed masks, everybody needed them. So, and the capacity of the top 4 companies that create masks, they were tapped out. It would take them, I think the number was a couple of months to fill the supply for just the hospitals if they went to maximum capacity. That's because there wasn't a huge demand. So what started to happen? People, individuals at first, got out their sewing kits, started making masks. I have quite a few homemade masks from people from my former church, from friends. It was almost like this thing where like you go to somebody, hey, you got some masks? I'm meeting people in parking lots and getting masks from them because I wanted to have a stockpile. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to get more. Now I have more masks than the law allows. I got one for every outfit that I can wear. But then opportunity. Businesses started saying, what can we do to fill this new need? Now you can get masks everywhere. You go to grocery stores, they have a whole display of them. You go to TJ Maxx, you go to Marshalls, you go to Target, everybody's got a mask. Probably some of the small businesses that you patronize, maybe your hairdresser or your nail salon, or some of the boutiques that you shop at, they all have them. And now we'll never again have a lack of masks. I tell that story because that is just one commonly understood example of how businesses that have had their best year in the worst year of our lives were able to create that opportunity. They were ready to pivot. They had the mindset that says, we will survive this. We're not going to contract into fear and say, oh, we need to close our doors because now our customers can't come. We don't know what to do. Even though other businesses around them were doing it. Think about the restaurants that you patronize. How many of them, I know in my community, it's a big foodie town in Louisville, lots of local spots that are one of a kind, not the big chains, but even the chains began to suffer. But the small shops, the ones that were stuck on the old traditional model, and not only restaurants, but boutiques and little shops and things, they're done. And they're not coming back, because the way money moves in and out of a retail business, you can't go a few weeks without money, without revenue. You got to have it, or you shut your doors. You can't pay your bills. Landlords started evicting people. But the ones that said, okay, people can't come in, we'll go to the people. Before, we didn't offer delivery. Now we offer delivery. We weren't delivering food to the cars before. Now we got curbside pickup. See, as a consumer, you see what they were doing. You're aware of what I'm talking about, but you have to think like that as a business owner and not as a consumer. The consumer mentality just says, I just go to whatever store has what I want, and hopefully they'll be able to do business with me. And some things you've had to do without because the store made a shutdown, or maybe you've had to change stores, or maybe you weren't using delivery services before, but now you are. You've adapted, but you have to apply that same adaptability to entrepreneurship, especially as a small business. Because if some of these larger chains have suffered, what do you think you as an individual retailpreneur are going to be subject to with one location that's dependent heavily on yourself for its survival? I think about my favorite store, New York and Company. When I found out that they had filed bankruptcy and were closing all of their locations and going only online, I was devastated even as I began to shop day after day, week after week, catching those sales right down to the end. I did do that. The major chains were not ready to pivot to handle what was coming. And then sometimes there was just no way to do it. If you have all these leases around the country and nobody can come to the malls, you kind of have to let them go. And that's what happened with them. But think about all the other stores that have as many locations as New York and Company had, but they didn't close. What made the difference? Understanding that difference and being able to apply it to your business is how you will be able to have your best year. There are some stores that are in malls that most of them are still there. They have now reopened or never closed. Well, I guess they had to close at first, but now they've reopened, continued on as normal. Things are different. Maybe they can't have as many people in the store. They got to have masks on. They got to wipe things down. They should have been doing that anyway. But they're surviving and thriving. It is possible to have your best year now because 2020 is being duplicated in 2021. We still in quarantine, pandemic, people fighting over should you get the vaccine, should you not get it, should you travel, should you not travel, that. People are still unemployed, people are still underemployed, people's bills are still stacking up, things are still happening in the racial climate. All the things in 2020 are still here, sir, ma'am. Don't let that be a reason for you to contract into fear and not move forward with your retail store, with your boutique, with your shop. What you need to do is have that adaptability, the ability to innovate and be ready to pivot when things are different. See, they never going to catch these stores that actually survived the pandemic. They're never going to be caught with their pants down again. I firmly believe that curbside service, at least at some retailers, is here to stay. Even if they say, okay, you don't have to do that anymore. Why? They've now adapted to that, and they actually may even see benefits to not having people in the store. Less to clean up, less shoplifting when people pick up their stuff outside, right? Less, just a lot of the difficulties you deal with in a retail location. You don't have that now because people can't come in there. Same with online stores. Online stores do have a lot of benefits, but it's not just a given that your online store is going to be successful just because you have a website, right? There is work because you don't have the face-to-face. It takes even more work to connect with your tribe and keep them loyal to you. So it's not easier, it's different. It has benefits and drawbacks, just like in-person stores do. But all of you have to be adaptable. All of you have to be, all those types of stores have to be able to adjust when things are different. And that's why that having that skill set is why some stores and some businesses that overall had the best year ever in 2020, while other businesses are gone to stay. Like most businesses that closed specifically because of COVID aren't going to come back. What does that do? That creates opportunity for you. That creates opportunity for you. One of the reasons that I was inspired to reopen or open the boutique that I am now opening is partly inspired by New York and Company leaving and leaving that gap in my life and in the lives of all the other women that shopped there. Because I realize, and you should realize, just because you're small and just because they're big doesn't mean you can't have a leg up over them. Them being big, large chain, is part of the reason why they folded. Once they have all these leases having to be paid to all these mall landlords, and when people stopped coming to the mall, they couldn't afford it. Apparently, the sales did not translate immediately to online. Apparently, they did not connect with enough of their customers online to make up the difference. So it wasn't just like people said, well, I can't buy it in the store, I'll just go online. What they said was, I can't go in the store, I'm not going to buy it at all. That's why they closed. I am one of those people. New York and Company is my favorite store to shop in person. I wasn't a big online for them. In-person shopping is still by a humongous margin the preferred way for people to shop. Regardless of what you sell, the statistics bear it out. So even though there is a trend to e-commerce, don't choose e-commerce because you think it's an automatic ticket to Easy Street. It's different, it's new, but it's not automatic. Most people still want to go in stores. They still want to be able to return to a store. So in-person is still a viable option. And I'm a fan of doing it well in both spaces. But New York and Company, obviously, I'm not saying they don't have a following online, but all their in-person shoppers did not just go right to online. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had to close their doors. They could have gotten the same sales that they were getting before and just fulfilled them from their warehouse. Maybe went into the stores and pulled some stuff out, whatever they'd have to do. They could not do that because they only connected with people, or they mainly connected with people in person. So now they're going to have to go back and establish themselves as the brand they are only online. And that's not going to necessarily be easy because out of sight, out of mind, people are now doing something different. The bottom line is just because you're new does not mean, well, shoot, if the other people couldn't survive, what makes me think now is the right time? Maybe I should wait. Wait for what? There's always going to be something going on. There's always going to be a challenge. It might not be COVID. It might be something else. The thing you need to be more concerned about than trying something in a difficult time in history is what happens if you stay stuck? What happens if you don't do it? Your desire to have this business comes from a dissatisfaction with how you're living right now. And that dissatisfaction doesn't go away just because you have another excuse to procrastinate and not move forward. It's COVID-19. It's this, it's that. I don't have the money. Honey, if you don't have the money, that's why you need to do it. If you're underpaid, underemployed right now, not making enough, working 4 or 5 jobs, and still not making enough to make ends meet, all the more reason you need to pursue your dream of working for yourself. Because the only job security is in working for yourself. There is no job security working for somebody else. Period. End of story. Period. There are some industries that are more employable than others. There are some things that are more stable overall, such as medical, such as mortuary. There's certain jobs, yes, they always have a need. But for you individually, there is no job security. They can always lay you off. They can always fire you at any moment. So if the things that are going wrong, the things that are not going well, stuff that happened in 2020, stuff that's still happening in 2021 is causing you to be fearful or say, I don't want to take a chance right now because, honey, the very reason you don't want to do it is the reason you need to. The fact that you're in that situation that causes you to be fearful means you are not in a stable enough situation and you need to do something about it. But the antidote for that fear is not doing anything or getting to a place of comfort. It's in doing it scared. There's not going to be a time when you're not afraid, but you can still make 2021 your best year by going through with what you want to do, even when it's scary, even when you feel like, oh, it might not be the right time. I don't know. I might fail. I'm so sick of hearing about fear of failure. I don't know what to do. You cannot focus on failure and attract success. You have to say, what if I succeed? Or what if I don't do it? The thing you should be afraid of is not doing it, not the doing it. You should be more afraid of staying stuck in your cubicle, staying stuck behind the desk, pushing papers for somebody else's dream, watching the debt pile up and letting somebody else raise your kids. That should be what you're afraid of, not stepping out there. But I get it. You say, MJ, you tell me to just step out there. Well, what if I don't know what I'm doing? I got you. I got you, sis. That's where I come in. If your biggest hang up is not knowing what to do, that's okay. What's not okay is not knowing what to do and also not aligning yourself with someone who does, who can guide you through the process. That's what's not okay. And I want to help. If you need help to make 2021 your best year ever, to create the magnificent boutique or shop or store, whether it's online, in person, or both, that you have dreamed about, selling your products that you create or that you resell for somebody else, where you have the freedom, the income, the flexibility, the choices in life, the options, the ability to pay off debt, to travel, to raise your own kids, to have peace of mind, and finally exhale once and for all. If that's what you want, ma'am, and you just need help getting there, let's have a conversation. Book your free breakthrough call with me right now. Don't you wait. Don't you wait till the weekend's up. You do it right now. MelanieHunter.com/chat. 2 L's. Give me both my L's if you want to get to my website. We're going to get on the call and have an exciting, deep, honest, transparent conversation about where you are, where you want to go, and what it's going to take to get you there. It's not going to get there by Googling. You're not going to get to $1 million business or a $500,000 business or a $100,000 business Googling and guessing and hoping for the best. Because it takes more than a few marketing tips, how to do it on Instagram, it takes more than that to have success. I promise you, there's a strategy, there's a system, and you need that system. But we got to have a conversation first. You have to trust yourself. You have to trust your decision-making ability. And by trusting yourself, make the decision to step out on faith. You've watched this video up till now. You've watched all the content in my group or on my page. Something is keeping you here. And it's because we need to have a conversation to get you to your dream. It's not going to happen by accident. You're not going to luck up on a 6-figure business. I don't care what they say. It always takes work. It always takes aligning yourself with a strategy, support, guidance, and accountability that's going to get you where you need to go as quickly and as profitably as possible. And I'd like to see if we're fit to work together. So Melanie Hunter with 2Ls.com/chat. Grab a spot on my calendar. Follow the instructions. There's an application you need to fill out so that I can confirm your booking. And we'll have a conversation that will change your life and your business. That's going to do it for me, guys. Headed into the weekend. Love each and every one of you. And we will talk soon. Book your call right now. Take care. Bye-bye.